Hello! Today we will be witnessing a reenacted divorce case which involves Hayati and Zainuddin. The name sounds familiar, right? This case was inspired by the case of Nurhayati Binti Othman and Muhammad Roslin bin Hashim in 2011, Volume 2 of SHLR Report, page 74, which was decided in Syariah Subordinate Court, Gombak Timur. In this case, this happily married couple was having a fight at Cross Hotel Jalan Ampang. Zainuddin had uttered a word which led to a divorce. Therefore, this case was brought to the court to see whether the word uttered by Zainuddin was enforceable and if Zainuddin was forced to do so. Do you want to know what will happen next? Is this going to be another modern version of a tragic love story like Binti? To know more about this case, stay tuned to watch our talented actors starring Nurin as Zainuddin, Aina as Hayati, Irdina as Consul Fiona, Rif'ah as Consul Leila, and of course me as Wadia, the Chief Judge. Stay tuned! May it please this honorable court. Today we will be hearing a divorce case between a plaintiff, a wife, and the defendant as its husband. The spouse were married on 9 July 2010 at Hotel Flamingo, Ampang, and were registered in Selangor. However, on 7 August 2010, the plaintiff alleged that the defendant uttered divorce around 8:32 p.m. We will begin by letting the lawyers from each side make an opening statement. They will explain what they think the case is about and tell you the facts they expect the evidence will show. Counsel, do you have any opening statement?
Yes. May it please this court. The evidences in the case will clearly show that the defendant had uttered the word divorce without being forced, and therefore, under Islamic law, the uttered words will be considered as a valid divorce.
May it please this court, I beg to differ. There are evidence in this case that will prove that there is a force made by the plaintiff which caused my client to utter the word without his own will, even when he said the words in a state that he is conscious. The evidence will also lead to the fact that this divorce is actually invalid.
Without further ado, let's proceed to our witnesses. Counsel Leila, please call your first witness.
I would like to call the defendant, Mr. Zainuddin, to the stand.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I solemnly swear that testimony that I am about to give before the court will be truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, Your Honor.
State your name, please.
My name is Zainuddin II bin Zainal Al-Johari.
Thank you. Your Honor, I would like to ask the defendant regarding the situation at the hotel. Mr. Zainuddin, what was in your mind when you uttered the divorce?
Actually, at that time, I said it out of force. I swear, at first, I did not intend to utter the divorce words. However, since my ex-wife, which is Mrs. Hayati, was so desperate for the answer, it urged me to give her an instant response at that particular time. It was all just misunderstanding, Your Honor. I am the victim here. I was wrong. Please believe me.
So, deep down, do you really want to divorce her?
Objection, Your Honor. This question can't be asked in the court. Counsel has failed to lay a proper question and badgering the witness.
Objection denied. Please answer the question, Mr. Zainuddin.
Well, let me tell you. At first, I never imagined that I will be divorcing her. I mean, I do foresee that our marriage would not last that long, but I still love her. I did not expect to divorce her right after a month of our marriage because we just celebrated our first month together last week.
Huh, such a manipulative playing crocodile.
Pardon?
I'm talking to myself. My apology. I do not have any further question, Your Honor.
Your Honor, if you may, I would like to cross-examine the defendant.
Proceed.
Mr. Zainuddin, if you don't mind, can you describe how was your relationship with your mother-in-law?
Actually, to be honest, it was like a fire and fire. I was not in a very good term with my mother-in-law. She always seems like we have some unfinished business. From the very first start of our marriage, she does not really accept me as her son-in-law. She accepted me just because her daughter were in love with me.
I see. Well, does that bad term relationship with your mother-in-law is one of the factors why you choose to divorce your wife at the moment you said those words?
Yes, indeed. The pressure and force made my mother-in-law and also Mrs. Hayati, which is my ex-wife, push me to make such decision. Although, again and again, I swear I did not intend to do so. I was stressed out because this has been going on since our first day of our marriage.
Well, that's it. Thank you, Mr. Zainuddin. That's all from me, Your Honor.
Counsel Fiona, do you have any witness to call to the stand?
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to have the plaintiff to the stand.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I solemnly swear that the testimony I am about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, Your Honor.
State your name, please.
My name is Hayati Percy Binti Al-Ali.
Mrs. Hayati, in your point of view, what actually happened at that moment?
In my point of view, actually, I already have doubts in my husband since the very first night of our marriage when all he did was looking at his phone and he does not even care about me most of the time. Then I get suspicious and that's when I found out that he was meeting that filthy lady, Raja Azli, behind my back all this time. How can I stand that?
I'm sorry to hear that, but may I know how did you get there? How do you even know that your husband was at the said hotel?
To be honest, actually, I followed him to the hotel. I've asked the receptionist for his hotel room number. Then I saw both of them on their way to the room. And seeing that situation, I was shocked and I immediately head towards them as fast as I can.
What happened next then? Did you say anything towards your husband at that time?
Yes, of course. What else do you expect me to do? I was saddened with what I just saw. So I go to him and ask him what was he doing here with the woman in the hotel room alone. And he just looked at me and asked me to discuss it in the room. I keep on asking him why did he do this to me and am I just an option to him? Like, does he really see me as his wife or just a random roommate? But as we get inside the room, I ask him again, what is his decision now? And he just sat there and with that annoyed face, he uttered, I cerai you lah. As a wife, I was shocked because he spit out the words as if the marriage that I'm having with him is just like playing playhouse. If you were me, I bet you would feel the same.
Maybe, but in other words, you did force him to divorce you, aren't you?
Objection! This is a leading question, Your Honor.
Objection accepted. Please ask other question, Counsel Fiona.
My apology, Your Honor. Mrs. Hayati, Do you agree that at the time when you met your husband, you were in such an unstable and in the state of you are full of emotions, which caused you to act aggressively and push your husband with tons of questions that caused him to make a rash decision, which he actually had no intention to do so?
Well, yes, I quite agree that at that time I was unstable and I was so sad and angry. Maybe that's why he made such decision at that time.
Thank you, Mrs. Hayati. Hence, I have no further question, Your Honor.
Also, Leila, do you wish to cross-examine or do you have any other witnesses to call?
No, Your Honor.
Also, Leila, would you care to make a closing argument to the jury?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. May it please this honorable court. Ladies and gentlemen, after hearing the arguments and evidences from both sides, we can clearly see that the husband do intend to divorce his wife. We must note that in Malaysia, we practice the school of thought of Shafi'i. Under this school of thought, it was provided that in order to establish a divorce, there must be 5 requirements, which are, if I may, a person who divorced the other, mahal, which is a wife, sirah, which stands for the words uttered in a clear way, wilayah, which is the capacity of the uttering the divorce, and qasad, the intention of saying the divorce. To apply this in the situation that we are facing right now, it is clear that the defendant do intend to utter the divorce towards his legal wife. It was said in a very clear words, which is al-charayula. Besides, at the time of utterance, the husband was in very well and sane without any other influence. That's all from me, Your Honor.
Defense counsel, do you wish to address the jury?
Yes, please, Your Honor. May it please the court, upon hearing the evidence and statement from both defendant and plaintiff, I disagree with the justification said by the plaintiff counsel. Ladies and gentlemen, in this situation, it is clear that the utterance made by the defendant was made under the threat, and there was a great pressure from the plaintiff and the mother-in-law. In the law of contract under Islamic law, it has been stated in the book of Fiqh al-Islami wa Adilatuhu by Wahbah Zuhaili, a contract will be flawed and unable to be enforced if there is any force and threat by the other party which cause the oppressed party to have no choice other than follow what is demanded by them. Due to the plaintiff's action, which at the time keep on questioning the defendant about his relationship with Raja Azmi, he was pushed to say what is demanded by the plaintiff. Hence, he had no choice other than to divorce her, although it was unintentional.
We will stop the hearing from now to give space for the judge and juries to reach the final verdict. Thank you.
Few moments later, one eternity later.
Thank you for staying with us for the verdict. Now I will read the judgment and decision that has been made based on the majority vote. After hearing the case, we have come to a conclusion that the uttered divorce word made by the defendant was valid and intentional. We have realized that the threat and force that was claimed by the plaintiff does not constitute to its specified meaning. Threat and force in a contract will be able to establish only if it involves with that traits and anything that might cause a great risk such as physical harm. Unfortunately, the plaintiff's side actually was not in such pressure and the defendant can easily ignore the wife if he wants to do so. Moreover, the uttered words was directly to the wife, so there was valid divorce regardless of the intention. The so-called false claim cannot be an excuse since the words already directed. Thus, whether there is an utterance of divorce was been proven when the defendant said I charayula, and the second issue, which is whether the threat made by the plaintiff considered as a force which caused the defendant to divorce does not affect the validity of the divorce. Hence, the court held that the utterance was valid and therefore there is talaq raj'i, and both of parties need to register their divorce and cancel their marriage certificate. The plaintiff iddah will be 3 monthly periods. With that being said, the court dismissed.